Jimmy Garoppolo went on the radio, said some things. Would you tell the audience what he said?
Okay, a couple things. I got them written down here because I didn't want to miss it. So they asked him, have the 49ers done right by you? And he did some hemming and hawing, but ultimately the quote that I took from the whole thing was, at the end of the day, I'm a winner. So he was talking about, doesn't really matter because I win football games. I don't care what anybody thinks, basically.
No, I'm not a
I am
champion
the winner.
or an MVP or a
Right.
Pro Bowler per se, but I'm a winner.
It's funny to me because this is the same thing that everybody who wanted Garoppolo to play and still wants Garoppolo to play over Lance, these are the same exact words that they echo. And Jimmy Garoppolo just said the same thing about himself, which, I mean, technically he's right. He wins more than he loses, that's for sure. But, to look at yourself, I don't know. The whole thing was really weird because he really hemmed and hawed. There was a lot of a lot of uhs. Well, I don't, he just didn't seem so sure. But then when he got to that part of I'm a winner, he seemed very confident in that. He definitely stayed in that moment.
I just disagree with Jimmy on that point. He used to be one.
Yeah.
But what I see is a guy who's 3-3 this year and a guy who was 3-3 last year. Like, this is what he's done the last 2 years. Last year, he was 3-3 and his quarterback rating was 92.4. This year, he's 3-3 and his quarterback rating is 91.9. So he's neither a winner nor is he good. He's serviceable and he's treading water. And he's been doing this since 2019. I mean, his last good game, he completed 6 passes. It's not his last good game. The end of his run of being a winner was the NFC Championship game when he completed 6 of 8 passes. Since then, he's 6-7. So I think he's living in the past a little bit. I mean, what else is he going to say, right? I suck. And he's not going to say that.
Yeah, of course.
But that thing that he hung his hat on, to use a bad cliche, that's old news. That's history.
He did get perturbed. There was one spot that he got pretty upset in the interview as well. I wouldn't say he got super upset, but you could tell he was perturbed because they started to ask him a question about, well, do you think the franchise should just go with Trey Lance, even if it means losing games? And he's like, are you asking me that question? And they go, well, I mean, like he got pretty upset. Yeah,
That's
he
a
definitely.
fair answer. That's a fair answer.
It is a fair answer.
Jimmy for that. I'd like to. I guess a better question would be like, well, he wouldn't have to answer it. It's like, how do you go through this year knowing that you're most likely not going to be on this team next year? You know, what's your mindset week by week? Well, I'm just taking it one game at a time, and but it's like must be kind of weird unless he thinks that he's playing himself into another season here, and he might be. I don't know. Okay. Hard to say what Kyle wants here.
Jed York did say that he has 2 years if he wants it. So who knows? Who knows what's going on? So 2 more things that came out of the interview for me. So they asked him about Ayuk. They asked him about the doghouse or proverbial doghouse. And he said, when you have success quickly, it is easy to take your foot off the gas pedal. So to me, that was interesting because that really does echo kind of everything we've been hearing, right? That there might be a work ethic thing, learning how to be a pro situation. Maybe he kind of rested on his laurels a little bit, and talking about Ayuk. These are things that John Lynch has alluded to, Kyle Shanahan has alluded to. So it's interesting to hear the starting quarterback say the same thing about Ayuk that really his general manager and head coach have said. So, it makes you start to believe that it's possibly probable that it's true.
It's just interesting that, the Niners had these issues with Ayuk for, I guess, all offseason. And it's taken them until November 4 to get some type of results that they want.
Yeah.
So maybe they need to re-examine their methods because maybe what they do with certain players doesn't work with other players. We're going to talk about Ayuk in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It seems like he was spiraling down the tubes the way Dante Pettis did. And the reason he hasn't gone full Dante Pettis is because he's so much more gifted than Dante ever was. But you can crush it. He's still young. He's still, fragile in a sense. And we'll see what the Niners do with him. But their tough love approach, maybe it's gotten the best out of him. But I don't know. He's had one good game. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, long term it may end up helping, but your whole point has been they've been stringing him along all season, and how many games did it cost him potentially, right?
Thank you.
Like that's
Yeah.
a big deal. That is
Right.
a big deal.
Yep.
And then the last thing that caught my eye or caught my ear was they asked him about the vibe in the locker room, and he said it's been good, not over the top or anything. So that was his thoughts after the win, the vibe in the locker room. It's been good, not over the top or anything.
That's a nothing answer. I mean, it wasn't good when they were in a 4-game losing streak, and then
Right.
they win one game, and it sounded like a lot of cheering. So I don't know. That sounds
Yeah.
like I don't know what to make of that.
So for me, what I make of that is that he's saying the team's not too high, right? After a win, it's not enough. They need to do more. They
Okay,
need to move on. They need to get a
sure.
win. But it could
That's a
also
PJ
be,
thing to say.
yeah, it could also be misconstrued a little bit. Like who is he talking about? The overall vibe in the locker room? It hasn't been great. Which I mean, 4-game losing streak probably shouldn't have been great. But either way, what's up, Sky? Appreciate that. He meant UCLA.
Hey man, every time UCLA loses, I'm happy. When they win, I'm happy. But when they lose, I'm happy because that's one game closer to a new head coach.
You
So
you really don't like Chip, do you?
it's not. I mean, personally, not particularly, but it's not even personal. Like he's just a bad coach.
Okay, fair enough.
He was cutting edge 10 years ago.
He
10 years.
did good by my Ducks, so I don't hate him, right? Like I'll
Yeah,
always have
10
that
years ago
soft spot in my heart for him.
for sure. And now the Ducks are just handling him when they see him. So I don't
Yeah,
think
that's
you
true.
missed him. All right.
No, definitely not.